Hello there, this is Gigi from Kauai Community College. We are talking about surface area and volume today. Let's get started.
Okay, so from the last video, we have learned that to measure, you first need to define a unit. Um, so what does it mean to measure volume? Well, same thing. We need to go back and define a unit, right? So remember my 1 shaka unit, okay? Suppose that is 1 shaka unit of length. Then the unit for volume would be 1 shaka cube, right? So length, you found the unit of length is how long something is. The unit of area is counting squares inside a 2-dimensional space. And so the volume is the interior of a 3-dimensional space. And within that interior, we're not counting flat squares, but we are counting cubes. Okay, so the question is, what is the volume of this shape? Meaning we are asking how many of these cubes fit into that rectangular solid. Okay, so I'm going to draw some lines, and there it is. So let's count. Okay, so how are we going to count this here? How many cubes do you count? Well, from the bottom layer here, or maybe just let's take a look at the top because it's more obvious than taking a look at the bottom. This one layer right here, we have one layer has what? How many cubes? I'm counting 2 by 2 by 4. Okay, that's 2 times 4, and that is 8. So one layer has 8 shaka cubes, right? And now to count the full amount, I would say, how many layers do I have? I have 1 layer, 2 layers, and 3 layers. So then the volume would be 8 times 3, which is 24 shaka cube. Okay, so the volume of a straight up solid, this is what I call straight up solid, meaning the base is exactly the same as the top here. Okay, so it's just the volume is just stacking the same shape straight up. All right, so that's how we calculate volume. You would think about how many is in one layer. Okay, and that would be 2 times 4 here represent just the area of that shape, right? 2 by 4 is 8 multiplied by how tall, and that would be 3. So 8 times 3 is 24. So to sum that up, the volume of any straight up solid can be calculated as area of the base shape multiplied by how tall. Okay. Now, if we want to talk about specifically what we call these things, we call that the length, we call that the width, and we call that the height. Yeah. So then we would say the volume here of the rectangular prism is length times width times height. Or we can think of it as area of the base, okay, area of the base multiplied by the height, which is what you should be thinking about instead of memorizing length times width times height, right? Because we should be able to apply this concept to pretty much any straight up solid shape. Okay, same thing here. This is how you would see it, right? So this we say is a straight up solid, a cylinder. It's no different than the other shape, but now the base instead of being a rectangle, the base is a circle. So how do we calculate the area of, the volume of the cylinder? Well, the volume, once we decided that this is a straight up solid, we would say the volume is the area of the base multiplied by how tall. In this case, area of a circle is pi r squared. That's area of the circle multiplied by how tall, which is h. Okay. For example, let's take a look. You see that there? That's the radius. Suppose the radius is 2 inches and the height is 5 inches. What is the volume of that cylinder? Okay, so same concept apply. Area of the circle, which is 1 layer, and then you stack it all the way up. And the area of the base shape is pi r squared, which would be right here, pi times 2 squared, and then multiply by the height. That would be pi r squared multiplied by the height, and that is 20 pi, and the unit would be inches cubed because our unit of length is inches. That means the unit of volume is inches cubes. We're counting cubes inside that cylinder. Okay. Now, let's talk about surface area. Okay, so in the two-dimensional shape, we have learned that the perimeter is the boundary, right? So in the three-dimensional shape, the boundary is what we call the surface area, the area of all of the surfaces around the shape. Okay, take this one for example. It has 6 surfaces, right? It has this type of rectangle, this type of rectangle, and that type of rectangle. As a matter of fact, it has 2 of these that are front and back, and then 2 of these that are top and bottom. And so the first one is 2 by 4. So this would be 2 by 4, and that is the area of 8, and you have 2 of them, so that must be 16, and the unit for area is square. We're counting square, so that's 16 square. Then for the blue face, that would be 6 by 2. Okay, that would be 6 by 2, and 6 times 2 is 12. 12 times 2 is 24 centimeter square. And then the yellow face would be this length right here, that's 6 centimeter by this length right here, and that is 4 centimeter, same as this one. So this is 6 by 4, and there are 2 of them. 6 times 4 is 24. 24 times 2 is 48 centimeter square, right? So then the total surface area would be 16 plus 24 plus 48, and we would add them up, right? So that would be 8. Regroup the 10 over here. That would also be 8. So the total surface area is 88 centimeters square. Okay, so remember, surface area is the boundary of three-dimensional shape. So you have to account for all the surfaces around that shape. All right, let's practice finding surface area of this one. Pause and wonder, how do you see that? All right, let's take a look. I see the 6x4 rectangle. I see a 6x15 rectangle. I see half a circle on one side, half a circle on the other side. So that makes a full circle. And I see that dome shape on top. If I straighten that out, that's gonna make a rectangle. And that rectangle has the length of 15.3, and the width of that rectangle goes from here to here, which is half of the circumference. The circumference is pi times diameter, so half of the circumference would be pi r, really. Okay, and actually, when I say I see a 6x4, what do I really see? I really see two of those 6x4. That would be this guy's right here and that one in the back. Okay, and then I see 6x15. That's this guy right here and one on the other side. So that's two of those. Okay, did I account for all the faces? I think I did. All right, so let's do some calculations. The first one, 6x4 is 24, and two of those is 48, and the unit would be square feet. The second one would be 6x15, about 90 something. Multiplied by 2, you get 183.6 square feet. And the area of the circle is pi r square, and that will give you 12.57 square feet. Just use your calculator for that one. And then the last one is a little bit more complicated to think about, but what you need to go find is the circumference and then take half of it. Okay, so that would be half pi times diameter. And just use your calculator on that. You get 96.13. So then the total area, when you add them all up, is 339.7, and the unit is square feet because we are talking about the unit of area. We're counting squares. In this case, square feet. That's pretty cool. Okay, now I'm gonna leave this question for you to think about. And if you get stuck, message me or start a conversation with the class and have a discussion. And that is it for today. We'll see you next time.